Good morning, everyone, and my name is Morgan Brett, and today I will be talking to you about the importance of quality services and literature for and about children and teens with disabilities. Today I will be talking to you about how do we as professionals build collections with quality and authentic diverse stories about people with disabilities, and how does serving a diverse community come into play when talking about this specific group of people. All library staff, but most importantly, librarians need to become more educated on user groups of persons with disabilities. This user group can come in all shapes and sizes with vastly varying needs, but with the right resources and collection development, these users can feel as welcome and a part of the community as any other child or teen. The purpose of this presentation, and why I'm presenting to you today, is to give tips and advice on collection development with materials that portray characters with disabilities in an authentic light, how to design programming and services for children and teens with disabilities, and how to reinforce multiculturalism by exposing children and teens to literature about peers with disabilities. And that will move on to research methods. The goal of this presentation is to help fellow library professionals build collections that portray disabled characters in an authentic and meaningful light. This presentation is also aimed to provide useful information on serving young patrons with disabilities and how to integrate this user population into a multicultural collection. More often than not, many characters who have disabilities in literature are portrayed in an offensive, negative, or stereotypical light. There needs to be a push for quality literature that portrays people with disabilities in a positive and authentic light. Librarians need to start conversations about designing programming in their libraries that suit the needs of children that have disabilities, their families, and reaching out to those families in the community in order to get them into the library. By attending workshops and classes, librarians can gain the knowledge and skills to accomplish this. Now we move on to an examination of evidence and results of this. The infographic that you see here on the right on learning disabilities shows that there are many different kinds of learning disabilities and how these can affect children into adulthood. It also includes statistics on general knowledge about these disabilities and knowledge about treatment options and how most people do not follow treatment recommendations or believe in best practices. Many people often wrongly believe certain treatments for learning disabilities, and this does not help the child in any way. The Library Bill of Rights emphasizes that persons with disabilities are often overlooked in all aspects of society. As librarians, it is integral that these people be represented and culturally included in the library services and collections. There is a lack of disabilities in mainstream media, but over the past few decades, major characters in novels, television, and movies have disabilities and overcome them to achieve their goals. And here are a few excerpts from some primary resources that I used when researching this topic. Students with disabilities serve to see realistic depictions of people like themselves reflected in society. Those students without disabilities who can find and read realistic representations of disability are likely to learn more about issues that those with disabilities face in society, and all readers can discover similarities that they may not have known they shared with others. This was said by Muller and Irwin. A better understanding of how and to what extent children's librarians in public libraries can or could provide responsive early literacy resources to parents of children with disabilities may help with the creation of more inclusive and appropriate resources across the field of children's library services, as well as contribute to the field of early literacy in general. And in one way, can an abled child who reads a story about a disabled child be invited into a more just and loving relationship with other children with disabilities? In a more general way, can any reading experience invite us to participate in the acts of justice, charity, and empathy? And in conclusion, it seems that there is a dire need for public libraries to build collections and push for publications of books about people with disabilities to establish a sense of community and understanding in a multicultural environment. Recently, more accurate and quality literature has surfaced that feature protagonists with disabilities leading normal lives but also teaching the reader about their particular disability. I've included a few pictures of some notable titles here. After close examination of articles that show a low percentage of publications that include children with disabilities, and in that low percentages, these publications tend to be stereotypical or depreciating of those with disabilities, it is apparent that there is a need for more quality literature about young persons with disabilities that carry positive messages and create connections between children who do not have disabilities with children who do. Alongside collection development, there is also a need to design programs in libraries that are inclusive to those with disabilities. By creating programs that can be tailored to those who have disabilities will help create a better user experience for everyone involved and create a community environment and safe space for those with disabilities to feel welcome. The future. What us librarians can do. Librarians should be active in engaging their communities and creating diverse and inclusive programming. There is also a need to develop early literacy strategies for varying user needs, such as for those with disabilities. Libraries can feature collections that portray characters with disabilities in a positive light and remove books that have negative connotations or stereotypes about those with disabilities. Librarians can create programs that are sensory friendly for families with children with disabilities and increase the accessibility of the library and its services. Librarians and staff should be trained with properly serving library users who have disabilities to ensure that they feel comfortable at the library and feel like a part of the community. And lastly, be advocates for celebrating multiculturalism and broadening children's worldviews and acceptance of people different than them, whether it be from a cultural, physical, or mental standpoint. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope that you consider looking more into this issue that seems to be apparent in public library services for children and teens. Thank you.